So if there's anything I should be doing or saying, let me know. I'm just here listening and
You are good.
yeah, okay, good.
So we're live. Hold on. Wait for our little music intro.
Okay.
Oh, I love the music intro. So, welcome to Hello Chaos. It's a weekly podcast exploring the messy and chaotic minds and lives of founders, entrepreneurs, and innovators. We talk to founders from different industries at different company stages of all shapes and sizes. We hear real, raw, and unbiased founder stories and why our mantra is where aha meets oh shit. New episodes every Sunday to get you ready for the week ahead. Hello Chaos is one of the many resources that are brought to you by Orange Whip. That's Orange Whip, WIP for work in progress. Orange Whip is a multimedia company dedicated to serving founders and entrepreneurs in affiliate cities through hyperlocal media platforms designed to inform, inspire, and create connections to help founders succeed. Orange Whip is an all in one content hub for founders with fresh and engaging stories, curated calendars, a local dynamic roadmap to navigate the local entrepreneurial ecosystems. We've done all the hard work for founders, so they only need to go to one trusted source in their community to find the local information they need. My name is Jennifer Sutton. My friends and family call me JJ. I'm the founder of Orange Whip and will be your host today. And on our podcast today, we are welcoming Robert Kohler, the founder of Kohler Law Group, along with many other entrepreneurial endeavors. So, welcome, Robert.
Thank you very much.
Episode 72. Yeah. So, we've talked to many founders. Again, just all the struggles, everything they're going through. You've had a vast career. So why don't you just start us off and tell us about your entrepreneurial journey and starting the founder or the Kohler Law Group?
Okay, thank you very much. So I founded Kohler Law Group over 20 years ago. It's always been a high-tech focused law firm, and all attorneys with Kohler Law have at least 25 years practicing high-tech business law. Some of our publicly traded clients include Meta, Facebook, Splunk, Arketo, Zappos, and a number of others as well. Public companies, they have their own internal legal staff. What they just don't have time. They come to Kohler Law because we're quick, low cost, and as I mentioned, all attorneys are highly experienced in really high-tech business law. So we've been around. Our billable rate is very low. It's currently only $485 an hour, which is much less than most.
That is low, yeah.
Yeah, it's much less expensive than most law firms, and with a great attorney as well. And we don't use interns. We don't have any others. You're only billed for the legal work. That's it. And I've been a Kohler Law. I've been a law attorney for a long time, over 20 years. And that's when I founded Kohler Law Group. But I'm a high-tech kind of guy. That's just how I've always fit in. That's why law firm is focused on that. I've also founded and sold several high-tech companies myself. Some were good, so I made some good money on, some not so good. But overall, I still made tens of millions of dollars. So that was good.
So in some of those, I'm just curious, in some of those endeavors and the high tech, were these technology, like was the software? Was this
first one was an email company, one of the first email companies ever out there, called SiteMail, and I sold that to Zoom, XOOM, many years ago. That's where I made a good amount of money. But after I sold it to them before they went public, after they went public, that's when I made well over $15 million, which was nice. And then I've also founded and sold a company called Mr. Swap, where you could basically swap things that you had at your house.
Okay.
And it was good. It was really good. Made some good money on that as well. It was funded by some VCs. So that was good. And I've also had a couple of other not so successful companies, but they were definitely high-tech focused. That's my focus for my whole life has been and
The
science.
and so you're just coming you've got these ideas, you've got these, business plans, and then did you start those with the intent of, "You know what? I'm gonna build it in 2 or 3 years or 5 years, I'm gonna exit out?"
Yeah, that's those were my thoughts because I just wanted to make some money. So that's what I was thinking back then. And so I sold my house in San Francisco, which I had built for $4.5 million, or yeah, $4.5 million, which was a beautiful home.
Mm.
So I bought it less expensive, had it built. It was great, beautiful place. I had some great parties there, and sold it before I moved to Las Vegas because of California's ugly taxes. So I'll
That's
never
what
live
you
in
were saying.
California again.
Is Nevada a tax-friendly, state for
Is it
is
Well, most of my clients for Kohler Law are not in Nevada.
Hmm,
They're typically in California or other states, Massachusetts, for example, things like that, because
okay.
we do all kinds of high tech. So medical as well, and you name it. But as long as it's something that's smarter than just talking, that's what
Yeah.
we do. And we never go to court. I've only been to court personally one time in my entire life, and I don't think I won that case. It was just a stupid case. I was working for a law firm back then, and so anyway, that's why I'm not into courts myself, except
Yeah.
for other attorneys. Some of my whose friends who are attorneys, they are. I go to them.
So is Kohler Law Group, is it general counsel, or do you guys specializing in IP or contract
It's
or
typically contracts, HR,
okay.
just the day-to-day stuff. That's what all my
Okay.
attorneys do really well, and that's what we've always done. So when they're internal staff, or if a client has a law firm they're working with, when they just don't have the time or the money to pay for that, they come to Kohler Law
Yeah.
because we're relatively inexpensive with such a great attorney. And it's always a one-on-one relationship with the attorney at Kohler Law, so it works out very well for our clients and for my staff.
Nice.
Yeah.
So you were doing all these other, endeavors and companies. Were you doing that all the same time that you had Kohler
Yeah, I
Law
was.
Group?
I
Okay.
was.
Oh my
'Cause
goodness.
all my attorneys were doing most of the work. I mean, when I first started practicing law, I was doing a lot of the legal work as well. But as I made more money and got out of it, I started just hiring attorneys, and they're all really great people. I've met them all personally. I used to own 2 restaurants and a nightclub in San Francisco, so I'd take them up for dinner there, stuff like that.
Yeah, I saw that you are also a restaurateur. Do you
Yeah.
still own and operate different restaurants, or
Well,
have
they've
you
all been
kind of?
sold. Before I moved out of San Francisco, I sold them all. So,
You're
and the
like, I'm
nightclub
done.
as well. So,
Very good.
yeah.
So, wh- what has inspired you to start Kohler Law, to start and sell
Yeah.
these companies? Like, what's been the inspiration behind this?
The inspiration was basically making some money so I could just live and survive and buy some good and buy a beautiful home and stuff like that, and just saving the money. I don't spend a lot of money myself. I mean, I bought my home in Vegas,
Mm.
and I'll probably make, when I flip it at some point, I'll probably make $1 million off that as well, because I bought it about 5 years ago. Didn't live here until about a year and a half ago. Um, but it's a beautiful place, and it lives in a really high end area in Las Vegas. It's on Alta Street, which is one of the only windy streets in Las Vegas, which I love. Being from San Francisco, I love windy streets, so I
Yeah,
fit right in.
got to fit right in.
Yeah.
So, what has been the most rewarding part of this journey that you've been on?
It's just a lot of fun. I meet a lot of really wonderful people, and I just enjoy. All my attorneys are great people. I speak with them all the time when they have questions, or I have questions for them. So we're always on the phone together. Um, I've met when I lived in California, when I lived in San Francisco, I'd meet them, take them out to one of my restaurants for dinner, stuff like that. But now they're all still in California, which is great. And clients love it because many of our clients, I'd say a significant portion of Kohler Law clients are based in California.
Okay.
They're all over the country. And I've actually had a very successful and large company in Australia.
Whoa.
So it doesn't really matter what country they're in, we'll
Yeah.
practice law for them.
Well, especially nowadays, post-COVID, I think everyone's now used to the virtual and,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
home base is not necessarily
Correct.
a must
I think
have.
some of the big companies are getting pissed off about that. I
Yeah.
know Google, Amazon,
Yeah.
they're all
'Cause
trying to
they
get their clients or their attorneys back to them.
right. Or their employees. They're like, we spent so much money on these
I know.
buildings.
Yeah, exactly.
So tell me about your greatest kind of aha moments of whether it's in, founding a company or in the scale up and startup or in the exit. Like what has been the biggest aha?
Well, the biggest flip for me and the biggest aha was when I sold Site Mail for such a great amount of money, such a high amount of money. That was great. I mean, that's kind of what I've really sat on. Although my stock market took a lot of that money. In fact, it took over $10 million of mine.
Whoa.
But anyway, that was in the past. And so
Did it surprise you that it sold that much because you didn't think it was like, you were like, whoa, people would see the value and people were willing to put that price tag or just, or
it was the stock value. So I flipped
okay.
it. I slipped it to Zoom, and then I held, unfortunately, held a lot of their stocks, and that went down. That just took my money. So
Yeah.
it was a dumb decision on my part, but I was so happy about that, and I said, cool.
Well, so what did you learn from that? What was your lessons learned?
I would have, in hindsight, I should have sold much more of that because I use all my money is with Morgan Stanley and UBS. And I think I told Morgan Stanley just to keep that stock instead of selling it, which I think they kind of wanted me to do, but I ignored them. So I just kept the stock, and that's what cost me many millions of dollars.
Many
But I
millions,
should have
yeah.
listened to them and sold more and just put them in other investments. I want to keep the money invested. I don't want to take the money out except for building a new house. But other than that, I wish I should have diversified my investments with them. But
it is what it is.
exactly, that's how I think about it too. So, yeah, I think about it every single day on my runs as well.
So what's been your biggest like, oh shit, what have I gotten into? What's been those kind of moments as you've been building your companies?
I think it's just, I've just been out. I'm glad I'm out of San Francisco because it was just, I know it was just leading to bad decisions on my part. So now I'm in Las Vegas. I'm not a big fan of Las Vegas myself, but it is what it is. I just basically working on my computer in my home all day, which is just fine with me. I don't have restaurants anymore. I don't have a nightclub anymore. So and I have no interest in even attending those. So it's just keeping me really fit, focused, and on what I'm doing right now, which is just building Kohler Law Group.
Okay.
And hiring additional attorneys when necessary.
Okay. Well, I'm curious. Why Las Vegas? You moved from San Francisco to Las Vegas. Like, what was the appeal?
Well, it was. So I had a friend really recommend it, and I needed to sell after I sold my house in San Francisco for a good amount of money. I made a good amount of money off that as well because I owned it 100%. So that was nice. So I got out of there and I decided what to do. Should I buy another house where I'm from San Francisco. I used to ski race and rock climb a lot and stuff like that. So that's really where I wanted to move, is to Tahoe. But the friend just suggested getting a good deal here in Las Vegas at a reasonable price, which will go up because I know values are going up significantly here in Las Vegas. So I'm just giving it a little more time. And one of my investments at UBS is going to take me another 6-7 years before I should make many millions out of dollars out of that. And then I'll get out of that and I'll be buying another house up there. So that's on my personal timeline.
Okay. Yeah. So if you could pick two things that you would change about Kohler Law Group today, what would they be and why?
It would be, well, what I do I don't know if there's anything I could do. Well, I'm reaching out to some other marketing individuals as well. There's one marketing person that works for Kohler Law, has been working for Kohler Law for a good time, and reaching out to new potential clients. That's what I do all day. So I'm kind of bored now.
Yeah. So you're doing the business development of it, of like, how do I grow?
Yes, I do.
Okay.
That's exactly what I do. And that's what the other person I mentioned does as well.
Okay.
So I need to build that more significantly because the only type of clients that I even want to have or the only type of potential client for Kohler Law is a high-tech company. And I reach out to CEOs, CFOs, really high level individuals. And
Mhm.
after I have a good call with them, I sign them up.
Okay.
Typically,
So it's
that's
the
what I do.
benefit of the outsourced, everyday counsel for these
That's
companies.
precisely, yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what we do.
Where do you think you've struggled the most as a founder personally?
Um, just um, just not going out to, I think I sold all the stuff that was just I owned 100% of what I went out to, and I've sold those all, which was a good decision because I made some good money on that. And moving to Las Vegas is just what had to happen to get me out of San Francisco.
Mhm.
So there's nothing specific I could think of in the past that um, that I can go in that I feel comfortable with. So it is what it is. I'm going forward, and I'm just happy with the money I have made. I'm not happy with the money that I have lost, but I'm just continuing to build Kohler Law and make more money. And I haven't started a new company for probably 7 years, 10 years, 5 to 7 years. But that's
Okay.
where I'm thinking about doing, because I do personally invest in some smaller companies as well. I've known some individuals in California, that's just outside of San Francisco. So I invest in them myself, and I just fingers crossed it goes where it goes. But I've got probably $500,000 in those types of companies,
Okay. So
and
like a
hopefully they'll turn around and make me some good money.
so are you doing that as more of an angel investor
Yeah,
or
exactly.
okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
Um, so what keeps you up at night?
Well, I don't sleep a lot to start that.
Who
To
does? Like
respond to that, I usually get like 3.5, 4 hours of sleep, which I've been doing for many, many years. I think for as long as I've been alive. So I don't go to, yeah, I'm not in bed a lot, which is no big deal. But I'm not going out, and I'm not going out dancing or anything like that. I'm just watching TV or on my computer and stuff like that. So that's a good decision for me not to go out like that anymore, which
Yeah,
is great. I feel very comfortable about that.
very good.
Yeah.
So what gets you out of bed in the morning? Like what really like just,
I just like to get on
motivates
my
you?
back on my computer and start reaching out to new potential clients. And I usually go for my morning runs. I typically run maybe 8 to 10 miles a day just to
What?
get out of the house.
Yeah, I was going to ask you earlier, like daily discipline routines that you
That's
do.
what I do.
So you run 8 to 10 miles?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. Where do you
Yeah.
run?
Pardon me?
Just where do you run? Do you go into
I
like
just run it around in Las
a
Vegas. I've got my kind of little lap I do over and over and over again. That's what I do. And
are
sometimes I'll extend it, but I'm just accustomed to doing my little lap. So that's what
so
I
are
do
you into like the
multiple times.
5Ks or the 10K? Like are you doing those kind of things? Or you just like, nope.
I've thought about that because I have a lot of friends that also, suggested that I do that,
Yeah.
but I just get out and I always listen to dance music, um,
Like
DJs
club? Like
spinning.
okay.
That's what I do.
Are there any other uh disciplines or routines that you do other than
No,
running?
I'm just kind of lazy here. I
Uh,
mean, I have a Mercedes I just bought. So it's a used one, but it's a beautiful car. So I drive every now and then. But basically, I just mountain bike or I run. That's my daily routine to
That's your
make it
thing.
simple.
What else do you do on your free time?
That's what I explained it. I
Yeah.
either mountain bike or I go
Yeah.
for runs. And I have some friends here now as well, so I'll go visit them or play with their dogs. I don't have any pets, um, so I'll go play with their dogs. Sometimes they love me. I love playing with them. That's my daily
That's
routine
your
now.
thing? And you said that you go up to, like, to Tahoe and ski
Yeah,
and okay.
yeah.
So
I
you
love skiing. I used to ski race, as I mentioned. I snowboard a lot, rock climb. I've climbed some really large mountains. So I've led those as well. So that's what I want to get back into as well. It's been a while.
really?
Yeah.
R that I was like, What's next for Robert on the
I don't know.
horizon?"
That's what I'm thinking about too. That's exactly what I'm thinking about. I do like starting companies, so that's on my mind as well, but
Why do
I'm
you
not
like
sure what I'm gonna do right now because AI is all over the place,
Oh, yeah.
and I have a lot of friends that are really high level individuals in that area, but I like starting my own companies. So I don't know if I have I have really I'd be successful in starting my own AI company, which it's not even in my mind. I'm just seeing what others are doing, and
Yeah.
maybe I'll put some money into appropriate investments where they seem right for me. But right now, I'm just holding my money because stocks are not doing so well. So I mean, I think I'm down. I don't know. I think down a couple percent today. So anyway.
Well, you're not supposed to look at that stuff on a daily basis,
That's what people tell me.
You're
It's
not
just
supposed to
always on
do
my
that.
computer. I keep switching to Morgan Stanley and UBS all the time, which is a bad decision, but I can't help
Yeah.
myself.
My husband was a stockbroker, day trader, so yeah, he's like, "Don't look at it."
I know that's a good, yeah. I've heard that several times. So thank you again for telling me that
For
once again.
reminding you to do that. So you said that you love starting. What do you love about starting a company? Like, what is that?
Well, I just get inspired with the possibility of what it can do. Because when I started Site Mail years ago, there was no other email companies. I mean, I think AOL had an email out there back then. It was a
Yeah.
long time ago, but that was about it. And so I started Site Mail, and which was very successful. And we had some of the companies using Site Mail under a different terminology, but like. God, I just forgot the name. Oh, CBS, a number of other really high tech, high level companies have installed Site Mail on their site, which was great. And that's probably why I flipped the company for so much money, because a
Yeah.
lot of these big companies were using it.
Interesting.
So many publicly traded clients were using Site Mail way back then.
Okay. And then so you love the energy around we've got this, we're solving a problem, people are using it, and it's kind of like that excitement
Yeah, that's
of growing
precisely.
it.
That's a good way
Um,
to describe it. Yes,
so when you look at, Kohler Law, you've had that for 20 years.
I have.
Yeah. What do you think has been the biggest, barrier or, as your growth pattern? What do
Well,
you
when I
think?
lived in San Francisco, I would grow it much more quickly. And I had 2 restaurants there, nightclub, but I'd always take potential clients out
Okay.
to have a bite to eat, no
Yeah.
cost. I'd pay for it all or just be on the
Well, you were in
I
the
already
bed of
bought
Silicon
the
Valley.
restaurant, so it was free,
Yeah.
basically. But
I was like, you had Silicon Valley like right there, so you could go,
yeah,
okay,
exactly. So I
companies.
love meeting people, and I always drive down to Silicon Valley to meet potential clients, and so it was great. I loved living there. And I miss San Francisco a lot, but as I mentioned, I moved out because of their damn taxes.
Yeah. So now that you're moving in and trying to figure out your new business, kind of your flywheel, right?
Yeah,
For business development. That's what you're trying to figure out. That's like that next plateau.
that's exactly right. That was a good way to describe it.
Um,
Yeah.
Robert, do you think you'll ever sell Kohler Law, or is this something that's like a near and dear of it's got your name on it, it's kind of a legacy brand, or
Well, it's mine. My name is in my name is in it, so it's
yeah,
Kohler Law Group. It's not high tech legal,
that's
which
right.
I've definitely thought about something like that, but I have
Re-
never done that. So anyway, but I have thought about selling it at some point to another where it was appropriate. But I personally just think I'm gonna keep it going forever because all my attorneys love it. I pay them very well. They love the clients that I bring to them. So they're really good people. And they've been with Kohler Law for a long time. Some have been here, someone with Kohler Law for well over 10 years.
Wow.
And some are like around 5 years. So they really like it. And many of my attorneys are part-time as well. They do their own legal on their side. No big
Okay.
deal.
So
No
is
big
your
deal.
business model more of like, hey, come in, we're an umbrella. You
Yep.
guys and you guys work your own book of business and you get kind of set so it's um really that's a nice business model that they
It
can
is. It
develop
works
their
out very
own.
well because
Yeah.
my attorneys love it because they can do their own work on the side. I don't
Yep.
try to even look into what they're doing, and they're always on the spot for Kohler Law when it's required.
Okay.
And actually, I've had one of my attorneys flew to my client in Australia on my
Well,
behalf.
yeah.
It was great.
Are they all over?
Attorneys are typically in California
Okay. So
because that's where Kohler Law is based. I think all the attorneys currently are in California. Yeah.
Okay. So as you guys are looking to expand your it's like, no, we need to keep this in California.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like that because everyone responds very well to a California name.
Okay.
So that's
That's
why. Yeah. But I don't
um,
like but on my website, Kohler-law.com, it says Nevada because
well, that's where
only
you are.
because of California's taxes.
I love it. So okay, if you looked at your company, Kohler, like a year from now,
Yeah.
what do you want that to look like in terms of a difference in service another industry, or maybe do different products or services, or maybe you want your people to grow by 10%? Like what do you look at and go, 1 year from now, I want my company to look like X differently?
I see. Well, I mean, personally, I am just looking to get more clients because that means more money to my attorneys and
Yeah.
more money to Kohler Law Group. That's all. And I
Is the
don't even spend a lot of money, to be honest. So I don't take a lot of money from our billable whatsoever because I have an accounting manager and stuff like that doing where I pay very well.
yeah.
So it's not. I appreciate that question, but that's not on my mind. Other than just building Kohler Law with more high tech companies, especially with high tech is just blowing up. It as
Yeah.
continues to. So
Yeah.
I just love that stuff.
So if you looked at like, hey, I want to get, is it like 50 new clients? Is it 100? Like what's the volume
Well,
that you're projecting?
I don't really have a number set in my mind. I just
Yeah.
do that regularly on a daily basis. I just reach out to new, really high level individuals and see if they want to have a conversation. And many don't even want to have a conversation because they have their own staff, they have their own internal legal, or they've been using the same law firm for a long time. But many of our clients do have other legal counsel, but they come to Kohler Law for a quick turnaround from an extremely experienced attorney at a
Uh,
very low cost.
yeah.
That's how we fit in really well.
Okay. That's your value proposition
Yes,
of you get high level of quality in a quick turn
a quick
responsive
turn at a
and a
very
reasonable
reasonable low
cost.
cost.
Um, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So what would our listeners be surprised to learn about you that you haven't mentioned yet?
Well, our billable rate, as I mentioned, is very low
Yeah.
relative to other law firms. And for such an experienced attorney who's highly experienced in high tech, and we turn things around very quickly. You'll have a
Okay.
one-on-one. Our clients have a one-on-one relationship with the attorney. They don't talk to me necessarily. Sometimes there's a three-way call, but usually it's just a one-on-one with the attorney, and
Yeah.
it's a quick turn. So the billable rate is, they're just really surprised at our low billable
Because
overall.
it's under 500, right?
Pardon me? Yeah,
It's
it
under
is. Correct.
500. Yeah. Which
Correct.
is it was so I'm going to ask you. I heard this from our attorney that handles all of our IP and trademark, and
Mhm.
he was giving me the lay of the land of the like the agency, because I run a media company that's Orange Whip, but I
Mhm.
also run a marketing firm, and marketing firms and law firms are very similar, right? We work on billable hours, we have
Yeah.
billable goals for our teams, and he was like, Jennifer, but the big differences between law firms and marketing agency is law firms, the law firm never has a bad year. The lawyer might have a bad year,
Yeah.
but the law firm never has a bad year.
Mhm.
And that kind of blew me away of, oh my goodness, I don't think, I I have not heard of agency models kind of following into the footsteps of law firms, but it was
Yeah.
intriguing to me to hear that put it that way.
Mhm.
Is that true? Is that true for you too? Of like, look, my team might have a bad year if they can't hit their billables or whatever, but Kohler never has a bad year.
Well, Kohler doesn't have a bad year. I want to increase the revenues for Kohler Law Group
Right.
overall. That's just something I've been working on for some time. Since I moved out of California, that's really been my focus 100%. And so that's just that's my personal thoughts on
Yeah.
what the bad year is. It's just I'm taking that on as well. That's what
Right.
I do on a daily basis, is just reach out to new potential clients. I have great calls with them as well. Like, I'm really enjoying this time with you, as everyone else listening as
Yeah.
well. So that's what we do. And I have time, and because I don't sleep a lot, I have a lot of time.
I don't sleep either. I'm a 4-hour a night person.
Nice. We fit
That's
together there very well.
I'm right there with you.
Good.
So, okay, this is going really, I love the conversation, but I've
Good.
got one last question. And
Sure.
then if you've got questions for me, I'm happy to answer.
Okay.
But one last thing, what are 3 things that you are either watching, reading right now? Like whether it's, or listening to, like, are you reading a book, or are you watching certain TV shows, or are you listening to certain podcasts? Like what are things that are uh, kind of stimulating you from that perspective?
Well, before this meeting online,
Yeah.
I used to have MSNBC on in
Oh,
the background. I always just
just all
listen to.
the
I
time.
honestly listen to what's going on with the stocks, which I shouldn't do,
You
which
shouldn't
you
do that.
mentioned. However, I do that. I'm just stuck on that. So I will take your suggestion and probably not turn it on
Yeah.
after this call either. So what I just do on a daily basis is just really try to increase. I'm not trying to start any more companies, I don't think, unless something just comes across me
Yeah,
and
if
I
you see an
suspect I might have
opportunity.
to do that. But right now, I'm not looking to do that. I'm just focused 100% on building Kohler Law. I've founded a number of companies in the background in my past as well.
Yeah.
So I've kind of been there, done that. I used to have 2 offices in San Francisco for companies I founded and stuff. They've all done really well. So at this point, my focus is really just on building Kohler Law, continuing and
Yeah.
introducing potential clients to these highly experienced attorneys. And then eventually, once my investment at UBS turns around and makes me a good sum of money, I'll be buying another house in Tahoe, skiing and
And
boarding.
skiing.
That's where I'm at.
And so are there any podcasts you're listening to, other than, I know Hello Chaos is probably up there, but
Yeah,
are there any other podcasts you're listening to, or books that you're reading, or like, are
I
you into
just
any
read. I
TV
read a lot
shows?
of some of the books I read are just high level books, and I usually, but typically these days I'm on my computer all the time,
Yeah.
so I don't even have a lot of time, or I'm just relaxing, watching TV.
What do you watch? Are
That's
you
where I'm at
into
these days.
are you into like horror, or are you into like
No, I
more
like I like
comedy, or
technology. I like
the,
technology and how the market's doing. That's what
okay.
I can't
So
help
you're
myself,
like
but that's
on
what I always
MSB,
do.
you're Bloomberg, you're MSNBC, you're like all absorbed
Exactly.
in there. Okay.
Precisely. Yeah. That was
Uh,
a good way to describe it, and you nailed it.
well, where can people reach out to you, Robert, for them to learn more information about you or your law firm? Where do
Okay,
you?
can I give you my email address?
Absolutely.
Okay, it's R Kohler, that's RKOHLER
Okay.
at Kohler, KOHLER dash law, LAW.com.
Very good. We will make sure that we also tag that as we publish this podcast.
Thank you so much.
Is there any lasting advice you would give to the founders, our listeners out there, of like, hey,
I would say we're a relatively low cost law firm with fantastic lawyers that are just completely focused on high technology. That's what we do. And that's why clients just love us. That's why some of these publicly traded companies with their own internal legal staff come to us when they just don't have the time internally to turn things around really quickly by a great attorney. That's why clients just love Kohler Law, because we
yeah.
turn things around so rapidly at a very low cost.
So for founders out there, if you are looking for a law firm, or don't need, because you don't need, as a startup or even a scale up, you don't need a full time legal person on
Exactly.
staff.
Yeah.
So reach out to Kohler Law Group, and they can
Exactly.
help you from a fractional perspective.
Precisely. That was
All
a
right.
very good way to describe it.
Well, very good. Well, we are out of time, Robert. Unless,
Okay.
is there anything else you'd like to say?
No, I've really enjoyed this time
I
with
have
you. That was
too.
wonderful.
I always say I'm amazed at how fast these things go, and I enjoyed the conversation.
Good.
Thanks for hanging out today and chatting with me and our listeners. Thank you so much for listening. This podcast again will be published this coming Sunday and available on all your favorite podcast platforms. I personally am a Apple podcast person, but
I am
find us
too.
on Spotify. You can find us on Google, Good Pods, wherever you go, we're there. So subscribe to Hello Chaos, like, comment, or share this great content to help us grow a more connected community. Hello Chaos is, again, one of the many resources brought to you by Orange Whip. Orange Whip is a multimedia company dedicated to serving founders and entrepreneurs in affiliate cities. We are 100% free. Just an email to join the community. Again, we're a one-stop content hub just for founders, delivered in a weekly email every Sunday. Little 1-minute read to get you ready for your day and your week. We are currently in 3 areas in South Carolina, the Upstate, Midlands, and Low Country, with goals to expand in 30 markets within 5 years. And Robert, just so you know, the Upstate, that's really Greenville area, the Columbia, South Carolina area, and Low Country is Charleston, South Carolina. For those on the West Coast that don't know our East Coast terminology. So also check out the new the monthly edition that dropped this month. It's all on founder mental health. Some great stories and great photography. Go subscribe and support us. And we're about a week away from the next month's edition, which will be on talent recruitment and talent retention, of how to not just recruit the right people in the right seats, but then how do you develop and nurture your team to help you scale and grow, will be our next month's edition. If you'd like to be a guest on our podcast or support us, send us an email to hello@orangewhip.com, and that's orangewip.com. Y'all, thank you for tuning in to Hello Chaos. It's where aha meets oh shit. I am your host, Jennifer Sutton. We will see you again next week.
Thank you so very much.
Thank you. All right, Oni. Perfect.
That was fantastic. That was great.
I appreciate you coming on. That was